This skimmer? Yeah. Okay, we're going to loosen up. All right. Hey friends, I'm Luke, co-creator of the Torchbearer role-playing game and other stuff. I'm here to introduce you to our friend Amelia, and Thor is going to answer her questions about Torchbearer.
Hi, I'm Amelia Arsenic. I'm a musician by day and avid fantasy role-playing gamer by night. I like collecting gold, slaying dragons, and snacking while gaming. And I am here to learn to play Torchbearer with you.
Amelia, I heard that you watched our video, the demo video that Luke and I shot, and you had some questions.
Yeah, it seemed really interesting and exciting, but I was kind of lost as a newcomer to Torchbearer. What do I need to play Torchbearer? How many people? What books? Give me a quick start guide.
To play Torchbearer, you need these two books, Scholar's Guide and the Dungeoneer's Handbook. The Dungeoneer's Handbook has all of the character creation stuff and basically the things that you need during a session. And then the Scholar's Guide has all of the procedures for running the game. How to run conflicts, for instance, how to design adventures, how to make traps, all that sort of thing. You'll need one person to play the game master and at least 2 players, but we really designed it to work best for 3 to 4 players.
Let's talk a little bit about what you need to get started if you're just beginning as a group. Characters, you've got to decide who you want to be, and you've got a wide array of very exciting classes. Can you run us through the ones that are in the Dungeoneer's Handbook?
Sure. We tried to keep everything basic and classic. You have the Elf Ranger, the Dwarf Outcast, the Halfling Burglar, or 3 human classes, the Human Theurge, the Human Magician, and the Human Warrior. Each character has what we call a belief, an instinct, and a goal. The belief is sort of a statement about who you are as a person and why you do this wildly dangerous thing going into dungeons when you could stay at home where it's warm and safe and you have access to food and water and all those sorts of things. You'll have an instinct, always find potable water when we camp is one of my favorites. And then you'll have a goal, so the thing that you're trying to achieve in a particular place. Maybe you've heard about a great treasure and that's what you're looking for, and so your goal is finding it. All of these things are written on your character sheet, and you get rewards at the end of the session based on how you played those things.
And do you get extra points for helping other people achieve their goals?
So there are a couple of other rewards that you get at the end of the session. MVP for the person that does the thing that everybody goes, oh, we couldn't have accomplished what we were after without you. And then there's the Team Worker Award for the person that is working behind the scenes to make everything go, that provides gear and equipment to help everyone else do what they need to do.
Okay, cool. And how long does it take to set up your characters? Do you do that before you come to the first session, or is that something that everyone does together?
I think it's more fun and more interesting when the players are sort of bouncing off of each other, and have an idea of what the other players are making.
So you can have complementary characters, because if you're all fighters and no negotiators, you'd be stuffed. So the question I really want to get answered is, how do I become a badass? What's the mechanic for leveling up?
There are sort of 2 vectors for advancement. One is tests of your abilities and skills. If you have a fighter skill of 3, you need to pass 3 fighter tests, and you need to fail 2 fighter tests, and then your skill will advance to 4. The ability to test it and the ability to fail is really important to advancing in this game. There is another vector, which is leveling. In order to advance from first level to second level, you need to spend the rewards that you earn from using your instinct, from accomplishing your goal, from playing your belief, becoming the team worker or the MVP. Engaging with your beliefs, instincts, and traits is super important. Your character is going to grow. We're going to learn more about your character in the course of the session. And then by using the rewards that you get from engaging with that stuff, your character will advance.
Tell me about dice and the other stuff you need.
Torchbearer is a D6 die pool system, which means that you're going to be rolling pools of D6s whenever you try to do something.
If you don't have fancy dice, you can just use regular dice?
You can just use regular D6s.
Okay, but this is more fun. Can you tell us a little bit more about the cards and the difference between equipment cards and the ones that you'd use in combat situation?
The equipment cards are just a way of providing you with information about how the equipment works that you can have right in front of you. The action cards are used in our conflict system. So we have a universal conflict system that you can use for any sort of action, whether it's an argument that you're having with someone or you're fighting a dragon. And there are 4 different types of actions: the attack, maneuver, defend, and feint. So you break up into teams and you each privately choose, and then you compare.
So you only get 3
Per round.
Yep.
So you'll do 3 actions and then you'll choose new actions.
And then you're kind of playing against the game master who also has 3
That's right.
actions. Okay, that's fun. And can you combine an action with your teammate?
There's sort of a spotlight mechanic. Each of your teammates will take an action in turn. When the spotlight is on one person, then the other people in the team can help. We encourage people to help all the time. You have to be able to describe your help.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not just enough to say, I also have the fighter skill, I'm going to provide you with a die.
Yeah.
You have to describe what your character is doing to support the character that's leading the action.
Oh, okay. You made that sound really easy and fun.
I hope so.
Yeah. Types of conflict.
Mhm.
Can you give us a rundown on that?
We've got a number of conflicts that we have set up in the game: kill, drive off, flee, riddle or trick, convince crowd. It really comes down to the game master to interpret what the players describe their characters doing and picking an appropriate conflict.
Yeah, and I guess players might become more familiar with the kinds of conflicts that are appropriate to their character.
Absolutely. There are usually skills or abilities that apply to a particular conflict.
For the newbie, is it okay to just let the game master help you a little bit to figure that stuff out?
Yeah, absolutely. When I game master, I set up a conflict, I will choose my actions, and then I will help the group choose their actions. Especially the first few times.
How do you start? Is there a setting where everyone is meeting in town and then they declare who they are, their intentions, and how they're going to start their adventure?
That is something that we talk about during character creation as we get the group together. We encourage that your first session you start at the dungeon, so you have that discussion about how you all met beforehand and you can dive right into the action.
Town and camping. Tell us about camping.
In the adventure phase, we have a system called the grind. So every time you roll the dice, basically, unless there's an instinct involved, that is considered a turn. And so every 4 turns, your character earns a condition. The first one is hungry and thirsty. And then 4 more turns pass and you gain another condition. But you can stop the clock by camping. So that's why you want to camp frequently. You want to stop the grind, go to camp, cook some food, maybe take a nap. We like to call Torchbearer a game of desperate adventure. There is a survival element to the game.
Yeah, and I can see that being a fun thing, just seeing how you can survive with what little you have and then how victorious you would feel when you make it out alive with all of your friends. How long does one campaign run for, do you think?
So we recommend that you play for at least 12 sessions. That's where you're going to get the most out of the game, but the game can run much longer than that. You could play a shorter campaign, maybe even just 1 session, but it's really going to show what it's got if you play multiple times.
Do you have to make the scenario from scratch? Is there an example scenario, or is it something that you, as a game designers, encourage people to invent their own stories, or?
Yes and yes.
Oh, yay!
In the Scholar's Guide, we include the Dread Crypt of Skogenby, which is a starter adventure. We have another book called the Cartographer's Compendium, which has 6 additional adventures. We also have my new adventure, The Ghost Tower of the Ilmir Fens. But there's also a procedure in here for creating your own adventures and dungeons. And if you follow it, you almost always come up with something pretty cool.
I've had a couple of friends ask me if they could use the Torchbearer system in a D&D setting. What would you recommend?
You can use Dungeons & Dragons adventures or adventures from other games. The one thing to watch out for is that they are often very large locations, and a lot of D&D dungeons you could run an entire Torchbearer campaign in.
So like one dungeon setting could be the entire 12-part Torchbearer.
It could if it's big. Torchbearer works really well with small dungeons.
Well, it sounds like we've covered pretty much most of the basics. We should probably just get rolling and start making some characters.
All right, let's do it.